if you do marry someone who's got high EQ or high EI, you'll never go through a divorce. Is it recorded? Can you rewind back? You're right.
What is abusive in Malaysia may not be necessarily abusive in the US. The mutual inclusivity of abuse. After doing that at night, you're going to beg her. Otherwise, she's not going to give you.
Of course.
And if she's not giving you, that's what? Sexual abuse.
Forcing yourself upon.
Don't sit down and say, oh, I am healed, I'm okay. Is this water break? Alright. That is what I call victim-abuser transposition.
Can change the person.
I know why you're talking like this because you're from Nigeria. We don't believe in that. We don't believe in that.
So, Mr. Production, we're going to be going from Brian first, and then we're going to come in all the way here as a short introduction, okay? So we're going to start with the man with the bandana right there. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause. Let's say welcome to Brian.
Definitely.
What's up, Brian? Yes. So, Brian, tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm sure you guys already know. Like, I'm not the first time I'm actually on Wet Waters.
Yes.
So my name is Brian. Like, you know. So that's it.
The legend.
What else do you want to say about myself?
No, I think that's good. That's good. So next up, we've got all the way from Singapore. Please give it up for Mr. Venkat.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the invitation. Brief one, 15 years in the training space, developing people. And when it comes to emotional intelligence, I've been advocating for the past 9 years now.
9 years. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
I think we're going to have some very interesting insights from somebody who's been in the training line and potentially saving marriages, I think, at some point too.
Of course.
Yes.
We'll get into that later. All right, next we've got the person who is an advocate for healthy relationships. Please give it up for Miss Kitty.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kitty. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
No problem. Happy
And
to be here.
the man, the legend, last but not least, we've got Wet Waters himself. Please give it up for Mr. K.
Hey guys, it's a good thing to be here. It's a beautiful day to be alive. I'm here with beautiful people, and I hope you enjoy today's episode of Wet Waters, and also do where to watch some of our past episodes. I'm sure you're going to love it. We see how today goes. I hope you guys have fun. Call in if you have your responses, your comment. Please call in and let's have a conversation.
Yes, let's get it going. Lala is saying hi to Kitty with some love and all. You got a few fans watching this as well. Yes.
Interesting.
So today's topic is actually a fiery one. It's a serious one. And we're probably going to be hitting a few areas where it's very sensitive when it comes to relationship, and that is abuse, right? So we've known that abuse has been something that is, I wouldn't say common, but it's something that is almost of a pandemic when it comes to relationships, because abuse is essentially destructive on every form. So we're talking about emotional, we're talking about physical, as well as financial. So a quick one, we've actually got a lot of facts to share. So one of it is that it's quite scary, actually. 1 in 3 women are abused in either one of the 3 forms in relationship. And 1 in 4 men are also subjected to the same kinds of abuse. Yeah, so this is something that's quite shocking. So you can see in a room here, we've got, at least 5 of us. Maybe one of us might be, experience abuse in
right?
some form, one way or another, which is quite scary. So the question that I want to address first is, which form of abuse is the most dangerous in relationships? Anyone can start. Okay, I'm going to reserve you for the last. Maybe let's give the opportunity to the ladies first. Yes, please,
Yeah.
Kitty, please.
I think for me, when it comes to relationships, right, I think the most, obviously abuse in all its forms is terrible, but I think the most terrible version of abuse might be a mental abuse, emotional abuse. Because, once you've already managed to conquer somebody's mind in that aspect, it's much more easier for you to take over them physically and financially even. So
there's a large manipulative
there's a very big spectrum.
relation that yes. Venkat, I see you're going very far in. Maybe you want to share some of your thoughts on this.
I like the first statement when she said all abuse is not kind of acceptable in the first place.
Yeah.
And being an advocate for the emotional intelligence aspect, I'll come from that area because the whole world is driven by emotions. We have to remember that.
Yes.
And when you are manipulative when it comes to emotions, or you are really, a relationship is about 1+1. When it comes to the angle from emotional manipulation, right, you're gulping down the other one. And you're sitting in their mind and heart with the wrong emotions.
Right.
So that's not acceptable at all.
That is a significant statement because that is almost total dominance and control via manipulation. So when it comes to abuse in any form, do you think manipulation is actually at the top of the spectrum in that sense?
I would say yes, because yes, as much the physical abuse, it gets healed. The wound heals.
Yes.
But how about emotional abuse?
I think
It sits with you when you're in the office. You can't focus in the office. It sits with you when you're driving back home.
Yes.
It screws up your whole life.
Yes, that's true. I was once. Sorry, please, Kate.
Yeah,
Brian.
Most times, most people actually they look at abuse as only physical, or if that's the only way they look at abuse. Abuse first. If meaning of abuse, taking control over someone. If it's a power to take control over someone is abuse, and taking control over someone, like the different kinds of abuse which people don't even know is actually abuse. Apart from all this abuse, like you stalking someone is also an abuse. Your partner is called cyber stalking.
Wow.
Cyber stalking is also an abuse because it's from that cyber stalking.
In fact, there is actually a word called digital abuse.
Yes, digital stalking. It's called digital stalking.
Okay.
So digital stalking, it goes from digital stalking. From digital stalking, it can lead to physical because of once the person is stalking you through your social media and you go against what the person feels not right, it might turn to physical. So you see, you get the point. You see, so this is
Okay,
crazy.
I would like to jump in because
yes. You're itching. I can feel your legs moving.
Because he's actually saying a lot of things that is in line with my opinion on this. And I would like to start like this. When it comes to abuse in relationship, I think it's a very personal matter for most of the persons, like the statistics said, right?
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I would like to say abuse is far much deeper than how people think it is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
True that.
Interesting.
There are layers to it. It's like an onion.
Interesting.
So many layers to it.
98%, man. 98% of abusive relationships occurs via financial abuse.
As a matter of fact, everyone in this room has experienced abuse in relationship in one form or the other. But unfortunately, we're living in a world where when you talk about abuse, it naturally comes to our minds that it's physical or emotional.
Yeah.
But there are different forms. There is verbal abuse.
Yeah.
There's digital abuse, like you said, and all of that. So it is a topic we want to look at psychologically through a psychological lens. You understand? And in my opinion, I will start by saying this. It's like the Amber's case with Johnny Depp. The initial case was against Johnny Depp and it was physical abuse, right? And sexual abuse.
Yeah.
But then it later turned out that it was emotional abuse from the woman herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I was able to come up with a word. I always come up with a word. You're laughing, right? I call it mutual inclusivity of abuse.
Mutual inclusivity of abuse.
Yes.
Wait. Dive
It
deeper. I
means
want to
that.
know what is that.
Yes, it means that every time there is a visible form of abuse, there is another invisible form of abuse.
Absolutely.
Abuse begets abuse. So, for example, verbal abuse, we always follow physical abuse. Okay, emotional abuse, we always follow sexual abuse. So, for example, a man comes home after a very long day and his wife is mouthing words at him and stuff. That's verbal abuse, but nobody sees that. And the man throws one hand to her face. That's physical abuse, but that's the one you will see on TV. So, abuse begets abuse. So, I want us to see it from that psychological lens that it is not just one aspect. Okay, and then another thing I took down when I was doing my research on this is in order to understand what abuse in relationship is, we must first understand who qualifies for an abuser and who qualifies for a victim. Because sometimes the abuser can use certain manipulative technique to come off as the victim.
Wow.
And there are other cases where people play victims.
The narcissist.
Have
A
you,
narcissist.
have you guys actually experienced this on a personal level? Maybe Kitty, I'd like to ask that from you. Have you experienced this?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. I've had a terrible experience within a relationship before. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's
If you're
okay.
comfortable to share more.
yeah, sure, no problem. It's fine. I think it's important that we do speak about things like this because awareness is the first thing that needs to happen within our societies.
Mhm.
Because I am of the opinion that some societies perpetuate this because there's a belief that there's shame in this to speak out about it, whether you're a woman or a man. You know, so it's good that we're talking about it. In fact, I do agree with what Kay is saying, though, that, you know, where there is one abuse, it escalates more and more and more.
Yes.
But in coming back to the question on who qualifies as an abuser, who qualifies as a victim, I feel like everybody can qualify to be an abuser or a victim because it all comes down back to your individuality, right? Your level of control within yourself, you know, because you will need to know first and foremost how to handle your emotions well.
Beautiful.
Wow, very significant
In
statement.
line with what she said, when I talked about identifying the victim and identifying the abuser, who qualifies as a victim and who qualifies as an abuser, what I mean in essence is, you know, sometimes, for example, you come home and your wife asks you, "Oh, I called you at 2 p.m. Why did you take my call?" You made me feel distressed. Now, let's look at another aspect. Rather than saying you made me feel distressed, she could say something like, "I felt distressed because you didn't take my call." So we are looking at the concept, facts and feelings. Sometimes people claim to be victims for something that was not warranted as victimization. And if you miss that point, then you will be calling someone an abuser when in essence, what he did was not an intentional abuse.
Yes. They were merely stating the fact.
That's why, I mean, my ex used to tell me, "Oh, you made me feel this, you made me feel that." And then I would always feel like maybe I'm an abuser. But I told her sometime, I said, "Listen, me doing something and making you feel a certain way is different from me making you feel that way." So there is one thing to say, "I feel this way because of what you said." And there's another thing to say, "You made me feel this way."
Yeah.
So if it is not provocative, if it is not intentional, then that person is not an abuser. What's the downside to having this kind of wrong mindset when you tag someone an abuser? Is because the moment you tag this person as an abuser, you watch a podcast like this and then you want to break up. But in essence, that guy is not an abuser. So I'm just trying to look at it from different psychological lenses that we would normally not look at abuse on a normal day, right? And then lastly, after identifying the victim and the abuser, then you have to identify what is abuse.
Yes.
What is abuse, right? This is where I come with the word fear versus respect. In every walks of life, in every ramifications of life, there is always either fear or respect to use as a tool to manage people.
True. Yeah.
Yep.
True.
That is how it is. Now, I would always say this, and I stand not to be corrected. Sorry.
You must be corrected.
You must be corrected when it's time.
Okay. An abuser's number one tool in relationship is fear. 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 Because that fear is what he uses to maximize control and manipulation. Is number one tool, like I always say. If an abuser is a carpenter, his hammer is what? Fear.
Yes.
Okay.
That's his number one tool. So if you're in a relationship and you are scared of your boyfriend or you are scared of your girlfriend, automatically that is a sign of abuse. You shouldn't fear your loved ones.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You should respect them.
Yes.
That's the difference between leadership and dictatorship.
Yes.
A leader is respected. A dictator is feared.
You wanted to share something?
And in every walks of life,
I'm listening. I'm trying to get what it's saying.
yes,
Like,
in every
it's
walks
actually
of
making
life,
sense, but
yeah, it's a lot of sense.
but sometimes,
yeah,
you know, some people self like abuse. Most people they don't even know how it's. Just I was watching something one day, and one guy he said something. He said he doesn't want his wife to work, do anything. He wants his wife to just sit at home and listen to him alone. That his wife cannot listen to two men. If she's working for someone and she's listening to her boss, and she has listened to him too. You know, that's also an abuse.
Yes,
That's
but
kind of
yes,
absurd,
to some
actually.
point.
Yes, it's an abuse.
Because you're taking away the individuality of
Vanko
someone.
wants to say something.
No,
No, sorry. It's an abuse.
Yeah.
But most people won't. It was on TikTok where I saw the post. I'm like, most people understand that that's an abuse. It's also called financial abuse because of it doesn't want independence
Financial
independence for the lady.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah, of course.
it's restricting her to be under him, not to do anything. So he'll be the only one to say whatever she has to do.
Actually, I have a specific term for this. I
Yes.
call it the mask of masculinity. So, why do I say this?
You always
Yes.
have a term for
I always
something.
have a term. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You must forgive me, but I always have a term.
It's good. It's good.
And this is why I say this. Because we are taught as traditional men to be in the utmost form of your masculinity, your healthy masculinity. And we know as a masculine man, you want that protectiveness over your woman. You want that not domineering, but protection. You want to lead. Okay. Now, these are healthy forms of masculinity. But the problem is some men, especially men, hide under this mask of masculinity to exhibit psychological abuse. So like what you just said, that in his defense would be masculinity. I don't want my woman to be under another man.
Yes.
But when you check deeper into the rabbit hole, you might find out that that is an act of abuse, psychological
It's not
abuse.
just an act. It
You
is.
understand?
It is because
So-
that is under financial.
Women in
That's
general,
under
women
financial
in
because of
general,
you're restricting the person.
yes.
Venkat, I would like to hear from you.
Yes, please.
Essentially, this conversation is revolving around traditional aspects of what a relationship was and modern aspects of what a relationship is. Because modern, I think for many women, they believe that they don't want to be at home. They don't want to be stuck under the roof and not be able to have their own individuality, their own finance, and anything like that. What do you feel about that?
I mean, there are still a lot of male species going around thinking that they want the woman to be a yes sir, 3 legs full kind of quarterback. I'm sorry, it's no more that way, you know. It's a proven fact that if you do marry someone who's got high EQ or high EI, you'll never go through a divorce. It's a proven fact. Why? Coming back to the scenario that you painted earlier on, your partner's coming back home late at night, tired after work, and this partner has been calling you for 2 to 3 hours, but you didn't answer. Maybe you were in a meeting. The question is, could you have avoided this conversation first? I would have read the emotional cues of my partner. He's tired. Can I bring up this conversation tomorrow?
Yes.
If you start doing that, that means you're giving the value to the relationship and not to the value of your own goals.
Yes.
2 things.
So powerful. So
Value of
powerful.
relationship or value of your own goal.
Yes.
So if you can do an emotional check-in, read the emotional cues, well, I can save this conversation for tomorrow by the time. When my emotions are in a pleasant level.
Yes.
So where is your value now? Your own goal?
Yes.
Right now, I want answers.
Yes.
How dare you?
Yeah. Emotions gonna flare
Exactly.
very easily at the
And
because
that is
both are
that,
stressed.
that in itself is a form of abuse. That's a form of abuse.
Demanding an answer when your emotion is unstable in that moment without letting it, giving it time to sort of subside. That's a form of abuse as well.
Not the demanding. The fact that you understand that this guy could probably have been in a meeting, or you know that
Hey.
at this time frame he would normally be busy or something, and yet you just want to attack him. That is verbal abuse
Yes.
in its very, very raw form.
Oh,
Verbal abuse. If I
see.
come into this studio and just say, Mr. Van, this, you parked your car there. How could you park it? I want you to go get. That is abuse. That's why I said it. I'm looking at it through the psychological lens. It's not when I carry a pistol and hit someone on his head that qualifies as abuse. Even the most minute form, you look at your girlfriend in the morning and for no due reason, because you are hungry, you start screaming at her to go cook for you.
You see?
And you don't even get to know whether, okay, she's taking care of the child or she needs to do something, or she even has responsibilities at the office. You just bash into her because you feel you are a top G, right? So that is already verbal abuse. And then, that's why I said abuse begets abuse. The mutual inclusivity of abuse. After doing that, at night, you're going to beg her. Otherwise, she's not going to give you.
Of course.
And if she's not giving you, that's what? Sexual abuse.
Forcing yourself upon. Okay, so to everyone watching, right? Don't take everything as abuse. Okay, if you go to your office and your boss is like, "Where's the report? Where is this? Where is that? Why haven't you done all of these things?"
It's an abuse.
It's not an abuse.
It's an abuse.
We're talking of abuse in relationship.
Okay, because in my mind, it's so easy to identify abuse in many different scenarios. But when we shouldn't be hiding behind the guise of abuse, we should actually understand where are the boundaries and what are we
That's
going to
right
cross
word you
into.
used.
Yes.
The right word.
Yes. How are we going to lead a conversation before it becomes an abuse? Very important. Very important, because it's so easy to misconstrue everything that we've spoken here to be you're abusing. You're
Yeah.
abusive. Can you pay for this? No, I can't. Abusing. That's not the conversation, yeah? Because it's very easily like we can tweak it to our advantage and leave our partners just being like, is this really abuse? Am I really that person? That's not the conversation. The conversation is really identifying a certain level
Yes.
of the abuse that makes
And
you
like I
feel,
said-
a certain way.
Sorry, host, to comment. Sorry.
No, it's
like
okay.
like I said, identifying the abuser and the victim is very important
Yes.
because sometimes you are the abuser, but you are playing victim.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Without you knowing.
Yes.
Yes.
You say, "Oh, my husband
But
is
you know,
always
sometimes
hitting me,"
there are-
just like
but-
Johnny
but
Depp
wait.
and
How-
Amber's case,
okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
Just
It's-
because he's hitting her physically, that is all she ran with.
Now, you
Meanwhile,
said
she has been
identify.
abusing him in
Yes.
other forms, right?
Yes.
So we must look at it holistically.
Yeah. Right.
Abuse
How
is
do
not limited.
Now,
Okay.
you say to identify
Yes.
the abuser and the
Yes.
victim.
Yes.
So sometimes you might. How do you know actually?
That's why we're having this conversation.
See,
That's why
because
we're having this
that's the thing,
conversation. First of all, in order to recognize that, you must first understand every subtle form of abuse. Every subtle form of abuse, you must recognize that. So that if you have that knowledge, automatically you even know when you've erred, not just when the other person erred.
True.
I mean, abuse happens because of the lack of awareness. The lack of awareness about it. For example, when you're talking about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's case, right? Amber was the one that reported against him first, and immediately in the justice system, whenever a woman or a lady reports of abuse,
The law comes
it's guilty until proven innocent.
Verge. That is what we are trying to change, the status quo of abuse. Because what the law recognizes is physical abuse.
Yes.
It is limited to physical
And
abuse.
again,
the
you
law
know-
does not.
and you know
How do you
the
want
law.
to explain
I
court
know
that
law.
you're emotionally abused?
You know law. They are blind to the truth. That is fact.
It is what you can prove, not what is true.
That's why if the sign of the law, the court has said they are holding a weighing scale and a sword, and the eyes is tied. Why? They are blind to the truth. This is for justice, and the scale is how much you can prove that
facts.
your this thing is true or your whatever. So that is it. So they are blind to the truth.
And to be very
This man is
honest,
smart.
Yeah.
He's smart. Very
He's
good.
smart.
I like that.
No, it's a
to be
fact.
very
Very
honest, with regards to what you said, I beg to differ that Amber did not know that she was abusive. Like I said, it is only the
true
form
that.
of abuse.
I'm sure she didn't know.
She come
thought
on, bro.
she
We're all
thought she was
adults
the
here.
victim.
I mean, everybody knows what emotional abuse is, sexual abuse is, right? And it just happens that most times the law only recognizes physical abuse. And that is why a woman
That's
like
what most
Amber
true.
would always feel she has some shot at such cases. You know, but
you
thank
don't-
God for the
emotional
in-depth
ones could make
investigation.
Could make your partner be physical on you.
That's why I said abuse begets abuse.
True.
Just to add on, guys, I mean, doesn't always need to be emotional abuse or verbal abuse.
Yeah.
Another worst one, the non-verbal abuse.
Yep.
We have a healthy relationship advocate over here. So imagine your partner doesn't want to talk to you, gives you the cold treatment for 1 week. How do you think I will be going through? How do you think I will be going through at work and all that? My wife is not talking to me. I messaged her. Shall we go out for dinner? Nah, up to you.
You look for
That kind of treatment I'm getting.
another person.
You see? So how can I produce this in court?
Yes.
I love this conversation that's happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be a blue blank on my face.
Yeah, true.
But what's going through in my heart, nobody will know.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
True
Right?
that.
Yes.
So we need use the powerful word earlier, the awareness.
Yes.
Yes.
How self-aware are you of yourself, number one, and the situation around you?
Yes.
Because you're letting your emotions manage and control you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Feelings and facts.
Yeah, but when you do an emotional check-in once in a while,
Yep.
ask yourself first, what are you going through? Is it pain? Yeah. Then if you have respect for that partner, the value of relationship I mentioned, right? If I have respect to the partner, I'll tell you, listen, I really got to talk to you. Really.
Yes.
I'm going to go through depression very soon.
Yes.
I value this marriage. I would like to sit down with all due respect, sit down and talk to you.
But that level of awareness is hard to come by.
I think I've been advocating for past 9 years.
I'm really glad
Exactly.
he brought this up actually because when we were talking about awareness on abusive situations and recognizing the signs, right? I think this all comes down to the fact that the media actually normalizes it, you know?
Yes.
It's not spoken about. I think even our society, when we're growing up and we're looking at our families and stuff, maybe other people's families, what you see on social media, they're kind of normalizing violence, romanticizing these kind of situations, just to look at it from a rose-colored,
Lens.
it's aesthetic, you know, that kind of view.
As a matter of fact, I watched a video a few years ago on YouTube, and a social survey was done, and some women were randomly asked on the street, "Does your husband beat you? And how do you feel about it?" You would be bamboozled that more than 80% of the women, somewhere in the Middle East, I can't remember the country, on YouTube,
Really?
they said they like it.
They like it.
Oh, no.
Have you seen that video?
I've not seen the video.
When I
but
saw it, I was perplexed.
yeah.
They said they like it.
Okay.
And that is a
If
form
you
of
can find
proof.
if you can find the link, please put it in
If you
the
can
chat.
find, yeah.
Put it in
It was
the
a social survey that was done somewhere in the Middle East. I can't remember the exact country. And then this brings us to culture. Culture.
Yep.
Yep.
You're right.
What is abusive in Malaysia may not be necessarily abusive in the US. What is abusive in Canada may not be necessarily abusive in Saudi Arabia.
Even
Culture.
Africa too.
Culture.
Yes.
Fair enough.
So this is why in our previous episode, when we treated choosing the right partner, we talked about belief systems, your
Yes.
religion,
Your
your
religion,
culture.
culture.
It matters.
Yes.
But if you go marry a man from a country where patriarchy is the order of the day, right?
Yep.
He will be.
Let's bring up that.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's
If
true.
I may
Yes.
add on, sorry.
Yeah,
If I may add on the conversation we had about a previous podcast, don't just base on the percentage of successful marriages. Because due to culture, I'm not allowed to divorce.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
in paper, I'm
yes.
successful, but at
Yes.
home, I'm
Yes.
getting abused.
Yes.
My parents will kill me if I go through a divorce.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
very nice thing you mentioned
Yes,
about
yes.
every
Culture.
continent, every country, they have their own social beliefs, social norms,
Yes.
and culture.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, wonderful. I want to. Sorry, Kitty,
No,
please,
go ahead,
please,
please.
because I wanted to ask another question that I think is important for us to understand. Mainly before we get into a relationship, what are some of the early signs of red flags that you can see that hey, this might lead to some form of abuse?
Can I come in first?
Please,
please.
Venkat, by all means.
Take the lead.
If you realize, right, it's a pattern actually. Are you, from a previous relationship, now there's a void in you. So I feel a relationship will fill in the void. But most of the time, it's therapy that you need, not relationship.
Exactly. You need to heal.
Yeah. Because what's going to happen in the previous relationship, you're going to bring it here. Whatever abuse you had now, you have lost the trust in the other partner.
For the future,
Yeah.
because you're
So
carrying the scars of.
why are you checking my phone? Oh, no, because of my previous relationship.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
are you healed first?
Is it right
And that's what I
for
call.
people to check your phones?
That's
In the
that's
future?
what I call. That's what I. That's what I
Yeah.
call. Venkat, in addition to what you said, right?
You call it what?
That is what I call victim-abuser transposition.
Bring out the dictionary, guys.
I like. Bring on the dictionary. I like that point.
Victim
You take all the abuse. You take all the abuse from your previous relationship.
And
Okay.
you transpose
You
it
were
to
a
your new one.
victim. You were a victim.
Yeah, correct.
You take it to a new relationship. Now you start exhibiting all those abuse. Now you are the abuser.
Exactly.
So you've shifted your status from victim,
Victim.
to abuser.
Yep.
That's why I call it victim-abuser transposition.
Is there such a thing as victim transposition from what you've done from a previous relationship where you were the victim and then when you move into a new relationship, you are the victim
Because
again?
the fear of element will be there in you.
Will that attract that sort of abusive mindset in the person even though it didn't exist before?
It's already embedded in the mindset.
Emotional.
Conditioned. So even if you're a decent, nice gentleman, right? You're really working from 8 to 10 now. My mom will be, what is he doing? Who is he out with?
Yeah.
Because the previous boyfriend was cheating her. So where's the level of trust and respect for the partner they want to date?
Absolutely.
Right.
So I think that was why we all kind of spoke about it. Like before you get into something new, you have to make sure you're healed. And I brought up
Beautiful.
the idea of, people need to be more honest with themselves nowadays, because you can't just judge your partner. You can't just judge other people for their behaviors without first looking at yourself. If you are going through something super traumatizing, you have to put in the work, and the work is not easy.
I heard a very powerful message from someone when I went away for a Vipassana retreat. This was us just sharing at the end of the retreat, and they said that the real power, the superpower in us, is when we are able to catch ourselves going through the motion of the emotion changing. Insecurities, right?
Yep.
Maybe your partner is very good looking and she went out for probably a business meeting, but in the minds of an insecure man, the thought that's coming in is who's she talking to, who's she
Right.
laughing with, maybe
How
her.
insecure are you?
Yes. And that awareness is very difficult. It's so difficult to be like, what is my brain doing to me?
Exactly.
This
it all-
particular word we always red flag. Oh, he's got too many red flags.
Yeah.
Stop for a while. This red flags were actually it's from you.
Self-projected.
And you
Yes.
see, yes. Have you
Projecting.
healed?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Before I say Virgil has got too many red flags, go to reflect.
That's why I talked about overhauling your value system.
Oh, yes.
That's so difficult to do.
I know.
It takes a level of self-development
Yes.
and awareness.
Self-investigation,
Yes.
self-realization, self-reflection.
This is why I am very strong when it comes to facts versus feelings. Not every emotions you have, you give into. If you are someone who gives into every emotion that comes to your mind as a person, you will have a very terrible relationship. Sorry to say, I'm not trying to genderize this, but of course, a lot of women fall in this category. Of course, there are still men that do that, but the ability to sit down, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, this feeling I'm having is not substantiated. I need to get rid of it.
Yes.
This is what people fail to do in relationships.
Logic versus rational thinking.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is where, Vanket, you come in, emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Because sometimes we just sit down and say, oh, that woman did this to me. This person did this to me. Everything is, the only person that doesn't take blame is yourself.
Yes. You're very outwardly. You've not internalized anything yet.
I'll give you interesting stats.
Please.
By the age of 35 years old, 95% is based on of who you are today.
Yeah.
By the age of 35, 95% is based on your old beliefs, memories, perceptions, and people you have met, buildings. So you only have 5% to improve. Do you know that? It's scary.
Really?
So I repeat, by the age of 35, 95% of what you have in your mind and heart is based on your past. Number 2, emotions have memories.
I second that.
Yeah. I bring along this particular emotion I had with the previous relationship. I'm going to bring it along to the next one.
How do we tackle that?
Emotional cleansing.
They say you cannot teach an old dog a new trick.
To a certain extent. We still got 5%. 5% of saving, guys.
The chances of that 5% to be changed, to make you change your attitude or your belief system, bro, it's gonna be difficult.
It is difficult. It is difficult.
those
We've-
comments?
Yeah, we've got some comments.
Oh, nice.
Interesting from Sincerely. When someone gets physically abused, you can see the mark or signs.
Yeah.
But if it's mental abuse,
Yep.
people around sometimes won't be able to notice it, which is sad. And she also Sincerely also says that Mr. K has a lot of terms for explaining things, and the way he explains it is very clear and concise, and she likes it. Last but not
Thank
least,
you very much.
emotional and mental abuse would break people more often than physical abuse.
Absolutely.
In most cases.
Yep.
And we have not touched base on one, financial abuse. That is another huge problem that is hardly talked about.
Yes.
Financial abuse.
We take this moment to talk about financial abuse, but before we go, the sponsors of this video is Wet
Wet
Waters,
Waters.
ladies and gentlemen. If you are interested to get your brand to be shown on this show as well, you can reach out to us via email or even send us a DM on any of our platforms, and we would love to get in touch with you. Wet Waters is here to bring awareness to the world when it comes to relationships, when it comes to even talking about emotional intelligence per se, because in relationships and emotional intelligence are very closely tied to each other. So this is our main focus here. So thank you so much for watching us, ladies and gentlemen. This show is brought to you by Wet Waters. We're going to move into a very important question before we move into the next topic of the day. So the question is, as you've said, this is another topic in itself. Is checking your partner's phone something good or something bad? Is it right? Is it wrong? Kitty, let's start with you. What do you think?
Okay.
I really think there is no reason for you to check your partner's
Well
phone.
done. Nailed it.
Why?
I really don't, because
But some people say there should be no
Not,
secrets
ju-
with
not,
each
not,
other.
ju- not just some people,
it's not about
experts.
It's not about having.
Even relationship experts,
Experts clear.
say, check your spouse's phone.
Would
It's
you
not
check
about-
experts?
The question is
I don't want to
why?
mention names
Yes, right?
because this is a
Why?
podcast.
I don't.
But there is a very famous Nigerian relationship expert. I was watching his video today, just, happenstance. And I saw he said, check your partner's phone.
For what?
And he gave his
Yeah,
reasons,
why?
What? Why?
Yeah.
Because you check what are you
I
looking
think
for?
the chief underlying reason would be
You sure?
not reassurance.
In the wrong
but
way.
That's wrong. We talked about reassurance.
yeah.
That's wrong. If it's
Yeah.
reassurance. But I think it was like, if you truly love someone and you're dating, this is not my opinion, guys. This is what he said. He said there should be no secret.
It's not
Absolutely.
about
I agree.
secrets. It's
All
not
of
about
us agree.
It's not about secrets.
Okay,
It's
but
not,
can I
it's
have
not
something
about
to say?
secret.
It's
Actually,
about-
Okay.
checking is not. It's not about secret. What's
Okay.
the secret there? You're checking it for what? What's the
What's
point of
the
you checking?
reason?
Yeah.
You
What's
know?
the point of you checking? You
What's the
check.
insecurity that you have that will make you feel good to check my phone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Vankat, please.
I love this.
I want to talk to you now. Okay. I have not said my opinion. Okay, but I want to ask a question.
Okay.
What if a man has cheated before and he was caught, and now that makes his wife paranoid?
There's already a hole in the wall now. It's been the relationship has been damaged.
Yes.
Okay, so
There's
is it
already a
permissible
scar.
at that point?
Yes.
All right. Why do you so want to trust this person?
Okay.
One of our-
How long do you want to kind of fake trust him now?
Yes.
But I don't think he's faking the trust, but it's like rebuilding the trust.
How's that
If I can
rebuilding?
just
The
interrupt.
value
check
of
in,
the
you
relationship
check
and
in.
value of your own goal. Now the value of my own goal comes in if I catch my partner cheating.
Yes.
There's no more value of the relationship now. It's the value of my own goal now. What are my values that I have in my life?
It becomes very.
If tomorrow
one-sided.
if tomorrow she's going out again, you'll be eating me. Where is she? What is she doing? Who is
Yeah.
she with?
Yeah.
Why? Why you want to go this emotional?
So would you sorry?
It's
Sorry,
self-inflicted.
let me ask the question.
Self-inflicted. Oh.
Would you now suggest that when there is a cheating involved, they should break up?
I'm not. But what are your individual values that you have? For me, I will leave.
Yes.
I value myself more than that cheating.
Definitely. I think before we get to cheating, that is a completely wide topic, all right? Let's not go there just yet. We might go there soon, but not yet. So on TikTok, some of them are saying that checking your partner's phone is not good. Some of them say that it's a breach of people's privacy, it's our
Beautiful.
privacy.
Beautiful.
But some of them are actually saying no matter if you're married or not, you're not supposed to check your partner's phone. And one person, Lala, says, I disagree with you, Kitty. Once in a while, we need to check our partner's
Why?
phone. Lala,
Okay.
we'd like to hear from you.
Yes,
why.
please.
Come
I really want to hear from
Let's
you.
have an open communication.
Yeah, the calls are already open, guys. Lala, if you would, if you're open to this, come on, because we want to have you on the show. We want to have a chat with you and really understand your perspective on why do you need to check your partner's phone every once in a while. For me personally, I think the moment we warrant or the moment we allow ourselves to check our partner's phone, the
Is
moment we
someone
have
coming on?
that, yeah,
Okay.
someone's logging in. The moment we allow that to happen, it's an insecurity that we're building onto
I
ourselves.
think Lala is
I
up.
think.
Lala, are you there? Hi, Lala.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, how are you? Welcome to the podcast.
But we're
I'm
listening.
good. How you doing?
Oh, we're
Hi,
doing
Kitty.
wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on. Okay, so Lala, we want to ask you this question. Why did you disagree with Kitty and saying that once in a while you got to check your partner's phones?
I mean, it's like a form of building trust.
A form
You
of building
understand?
trust.
I feel like if I trust you wholeheartedly with my body, you should be able to trust me with something as fragile as a phone,
Yes.
right?
Less
I don't know where
significant.
I stand with my partner. Because if you're having multiple people with me, like you're gonna give me things that like
Yes.
diseases,
Like
all
infectious
these things. I
diseases
have
and
to
stuff.
know.
Yeah.
If you're cheating, if you're not, I have to know. So once in a while, maybe once in 2 weeks, I have to check and see what's
No,
up.
no, you should make it once in
What
2
is
days.
different?
So
Once in 2 days. Once in 2 days.
Hang
or
on now.
every 3 hours.
Couple
Hang on.
respect our
Yes,
caller,
hang
man.
on now, hang on now. Okay, don't worry, Lala. We're gonna be on each other's side just so Mr. Brian doesn't try to distinguish all of us. Okay, so Lala, just let's just say, for example, this man is head over heels for you. He wakes up every morning. He even cooks you breakfast. Like he does things that is very out of the norm to show his love to you. Would you still want to check his phone in that sense? And what if by doing that you check his phone and you find that at some point maybe the way he talks to some of the people, maybe via Instagram or maybe some of his friends, which is more aligned towards female, and you're not too happy about it. Maybe it's like, haha, good joke. But for you, it's like, are you flirting? Are you flirting with this girl? Why do you like a joke? Are we supposed to say no? What do you think about those things?
I feel like if he hasn't given me a reason to check his phone, I won't. You understand? My ex-boyfriend's phone, and he was calling all sorts of women. Oh, baby, darling, this. So that gives me a reason to like check and see the depth of this conversation. You understand?
Like,
Where is it coming
she's
from? Where
taking
is it going?
the problem
The
from
basis
a
of
previous
it all.
relationship into the new relationship.
If
Yes,
he hasn't given me a
that
reason
is
to check
it.
the
That's
phone, I
why.
won't.
Yes.
But
I
if
think I'm
he
gonna.
does,
Yes.
I will.
Sorry. I'm gonna pass you on to either Brian or Venkat or even Kitty to kind of address this, because I think we definitely have gone through these kind of conversations. Especially Kitty. I really want to know your experience on this. So Lala, I'm gonna pass you over to Kitty. So here you
nice.
go.
Okay.
It's right there.
Hi. No, for me, right, I think when it comes to searching your partner's phone, I think that when you have the intention of looking for something, you're already forming a judgment in your mind, a negative judgment in your mind. You're like, I feel like my man's doing something crazy. Let me check up on him real quick,
Yeah.
But actually, if you trust your partner, there shouldn't be that doubt, right?
So like
But-
Lala mentions, it's because it gave her a certain vibe. The man made her feel.
Then why
there
can't
needs
she
be a
talk
beat.
to the man about it directly?
Beautiful.
Okay, ask her.
I feel like Lala, you should probably speak to your partner and be like, hi, I feel like can we just do a quick check-in? I feel like your behavior recently has made me feel weird. I think that's a bit more better than for you to just go snooping through his phone, because you might be able to see something on the phone that you might have a negative conclusion on, but it might not be the case of how you're perceiving it actually.
Interesting perspective. Interesting perspective.
just
We've got one more
because
minute.
like I said that you shouldn't check your partner's phone, it doesn't mean also that you don't have access to your partner's phone.
Yes.
If my boyfriend wanted to check my phone, wanted to
He
have my
has the
phone,
password.
you have my password, you can hold on to my phone,
But there's
take
no
pictures,
point
do
for you
whatever.
to go and do it because
That
of
is
if
a
you go and
healthy
relationship.
if you go and do it, you just want to kill yourself, or you're just because now, like she said, she's bringing a past issue into a new relationship. That's why, because what's the point? You go and check. It's not like you don't know the password. You know the password, but you don't need to go and do it.
Right.
You don't have to. There's no point because of you just now. What if you do it and you find what you're looking for? What's the outcome? So what do you want to gain?
You'll forgive him.
I will just share one more line, right?
Please, please.
Again, starting from emotions.
Yeah.
Your emotions becomes your thoughts. So now the thought in my mind is, what is he doing behind my back?
Yes.
Your thoughts become a behavior, right? Which is could be words or actions. A behavior becomes a habit. A habit becomes a pattern. So now the next relationship is a pattern. I'll check. I don't trust him. So you could understand all it starts from emotions. Emotions, thoughts, behavior, habit, pattern.
So emotion comes way above everything, and it makes you
Without you knowing.
Well, is
Emotions
there a
are very
trigger?
unconscious.
Is there a trigger that
Yes, your
kicks
previous
the
past,
emotions?
your emotions, your memories.
Wow.
The song,
Wow.
right?
Wow. Lala, before we let you go, will you actually feel this sort of emotion, being inside of you when you go for maybe a date, or maybe you meet someone new, or maybe even your current partner? Like, does that emotion actually, come back every now and then to you?
It depends on what the current person does. Currently, the one I'm dating doesn't give me reasons to like doubt him or to be onto his phone and
Healthy.
So
you
you
don't
don't check. So and you say you need to check. You don't check and you say you need to check.
No, she says every once in a while if they
No,
exhibit-
but she just said the one she's dating, she doesn't check, and she say you need to check. So
No,
so
I say currently the person I'm dating doesn't give me the reason to check his phone.
what reason?
Right.
That means you don't check.
we gotta let her go. I
If
think we got
he
another call
does,
coming in.
I
Lala,
will. Thanks,
last
Lala.
words
Good job,
before we
good
let
job.
you go. Your stance on this. Should we check our partner's phones every now and then?
Yes, we should.
Okay, this is up for contention. Thank you, Lala. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing time with you here. We gotta say goodbye. Thanks. Bye, Lala. Wow. Wow. She doesn't check her current partner's phone, but there must be a point where she is allowed to check his phone. Interesting.
Yeah, of course, it's
Let's
okay.
rephrase the
yes.
word check.
Yes.
If it's a healthy relationship, you will have access to my phone, you will know my password.
Mm.
But if you're snooping behind me when I'm having my shower,
Digital snooping.
that is unhealthy relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like, even though she doesn't do it to her current partner, I feel like that mentality in itself is still very, very bad. You know what I mean? Because it means that you're not really,
Respecting.
And
you
she
don't
see
really
us
have
in
that.
one part of her head, like she still wants to go and check.
Right?
Yeah,
Imagine-
Fati,
like-
Fati. Fati also
she
like-
want to check. She trust me.
The devil in the head
Yes.
is still telling you.
Yeah.
Go and,
Yeah.
go and
There
do
must
it.
be someone. There
Yes.
must be someone on the other side. They're not telling you
She
this.
can't be this good, right?
Yes.
You see, the devil in the head.
Yes. Fati, are you online, Fati? My man, you're on mute. There you go.
Yeah,
How are you, Fati?
I'm online. All good, all good.
Nice to
How are
see
you
you.
guys?
We're doing well. Welcome to the podcast. We've only got 5 minutes because I think we've got to move on to the next topic as well. But Fatih, please share with us in terms of this topic, which is, I think it's gonna tear up the room a little bit. Should you or should you not check your partner's phone?
All right. Before checking the partner's phone, I actually wanted to comment on the gray area abuse. Can we go back to it?
Yeah, of course,
All
of
right.
course.
So we've talked about physical abuse, emotional abuse, and all type of abuse coming in the manipulative part of abusing. How about the unintentional abuse?
Unintentional
Let's say,
abuse.
for example, a guy, for example, he actually have a lack communication skills. So with a stable person in the opposite direction, when he hears, why are you coming in so abuse? But it's like it was an intentional. Or let's say a guy in his childhood, his parents always blame him, this and that, and they'll come in aggressive to him, and then he have to be, like he had to defend himself. Like sometimes, okay, like why you have done this, why you have done that, and then he have to defend himself, and then maybe have to lie to get away from his parents. So he have developed all of these skills. Now in his current relationship, he's doing the exact same thing.
Which is destructive.
He didn't intend to abuse. Yeah, exactly. He didn't intend to abuse his partner, but that's how he grew up.
But that's a very fine line, Fatih. In that statement, I believe it's actually quite a fine line to sort of put the current state of affairs in terms of why we abuse our partners and bring it back to past traumas. Now, I think Venkat said this very clearly, very straightforwardly. I think all of us needs therapy to some extent because we don't know what we're carrying forth into the relationship. But to attribute the current abuse to our previous life experiences, I think that is not only true, but that's also a bullet that anyone can use to abuse their partners. What do you think?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's it.
People with lack of communication skills is very interesting. Like lack of communication skills, maybe introverts, maybe people who were not given opportunity to express themselves when they were young. Then when they get into a relationship, they suddenly become overly dominant. Expressing the feelings of dominance for the lack or the hole in their lives. So how do we
overcompensate?
Yeah, how do we tackle that? I mean, that's something that's very deep in that sense.
I mean, that's first of all, when it comes to emotional intelligence, the first domain is self-awareness.
Yes.
Second domain is self-management. So it's brilliant to know that, okay, I already lack certain communication skills, the self-awareness. Now I'm going to manage it.
Yeah.
The third domain is social relationship. Fourth domain is relationship management. Okay. Social awareness, relationship management. Now I know who I am, my strength and my weakness. Does my partner compliment me on that? Is that the right partner? So why am I either going into the dark well or surfing the wave? Which one? Where am I now? What's my partner? Where is my partner bringing me? Does she know my strength and my weakness?
Yes.
That's my
certain
answer.
partners
That's
likes
what
to
we
be
talked
abused in that
that's,
area.
Yes.
that's why we talked about compatibility.
Yeah, in
Well
the
done, well
in-
said.
Choosing the right
Right
partner.
partner.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So compatibility is not, oh, he has six pack. No, that's not compatibility. Compatibility is this kind of shortcomings that a man would have.
Hmm.
And as a woman, you already know how to accommodate
Right?
those shortcomings.
Exactly.
So you don't look at it as an abuse.
You
Mm.
don't take advantage of the weakness.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't forget how even our parents at times were bullies,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So is this bullying brought upon us, the bullying, the abuser, because of our surroundings at home? We followed our father, we followed our mother.
It's funny.
It's
It's
bullying,
funny.
right?
It's funny that you said that actually, because that was actually my logic in trying to understand why this was happening to me, right? I started to justify his behavior
Yes.
and I started saying, okay, maybe because the conditions were different for him as opposed to me.
Wow.
So maybe this is the reason why the cycle is continuing. You know, like going back to, I think somebody brought up the fact that the victim becomes the abuser later on.
Yes.
And I think that is very, very valid actually,
Yes.
especially if you
Victim-Abuser Transposition.
Yes.
Transposition.
because
I will
Right.
not forget that. Mr. K, the wise. Pati, before I let you go, thank you for the sharing. I think it's brought a very interesting form of conversation among us right here. Any last words you want to share before we have to let you go?
Yeah, that's it. And great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming online, Pati. Always a pleasure to have you, man. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. It's interesting to actually think about how the past traumas would always affect how we abuse our current partners in relationship.
Not only past relationship trauma, our childhood trauma.
Yes.
I was never given a voice to talk at home. I was always called stupid. So now I find a nice girl who compliments me. Now I become the bully. Because nobody allowed me to be heard, to be seen. When I walk tall, nobody sees it. But now I have someone admiring me, right? Eventually, after 1 or 2 years, I become the bully, you know. Hey, you listen to me. You stop working now. So whatever I went through at home 20 years ago, it's getting passed down now.
Wow. So essentially, we are going to muddle and destroy the beautiful qualities of our partners if we don't check ourselves often enough.
Yep.
The behavior value system.
Wow. I want to move into the next topic, if we're okay to do that.
Yeah, sure.
We've actually talked about all the topics here.
Already.
Within the one, we'll bits and pieces
Okay,
that I
okay.
did not even intend to. But I think the next thing that I want to sort of ask is, Aku, let's put it in the chat session there.
Yeah.
Would you take back an ex who abused you if they promised they had changed?
Well, I did.
Oh, you too.
Brian, did you?
I've not experienced that, so I wouldn't know.
I'm not okay, please share with us if you
Yeah,
are
that
you
one-
comfortable to share?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's what podcast is all about, right?
Yes,
Yes,
and
yes.
one after
Not
the
only
other. I
sharing
would like
success
to.
stories, but our down stories.
Yes, I think it's perfect.
So it happened kind of after the relationship got broken off during COVID period. So I kind of blocked her everywhere except my email. So after COVID, 2 years later, I received an email, right? And I spoke to my good friend about it. We concluded, yeah, she's a known devil. Unknown devil is better than unknown devil. So I said yes. It lasted only 3 months.
Because-
it lasted only 3 months. Number one, emotions and memories.
Yes.
Right? And as much as they verbally say, I think I've changed, I think I'm a better person. Likewise, I also said, yep, I'm more mature now. But the behaviors, the thought pattern, all is still the same.
It's a known wound.
Vijay.
It's a known scar.
And,
that's
but
easy.
you know,
Yes.
it's like this. What if the person truly changed?
Then I think they would have lasted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like this question, like, would you take? Okay, before, please, I want. Can you share your own?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
my own situation was like, because the relationship itself was a long relationship, right? So we did have periods where we were separated, you know, and that's where you hear the, I'm sorry, I'll fix it. I've changed for real. And then you come back and you realize pretty much like, you know, like you
Status
said,
quo.
it was nothing really changes. You've just put on a different mask and the mask always falls off, always falls off. So you see that you don't read the same book and expect a different ending. You know what
Okay.
I
Oh,
mean?
lovely.
So
Okay.
you really don't.
But for me, I think it's fine if the person tells me that they changed. I can tell the person back. If it's the question is, would you take your ex
Back.
back
If
that
they say that
you've changed? Yes, I can. I would. Because truly, some people would actually change. So I can't, if it can change, no one can, they can't change because they only can change themselves. So truly, if they're actually changed person and they tell themselves, I want to be a changed person, I want to be this person, I want to be a good person, then it's good. I would take the
Do
person
you
back.
think time is a factor in that? Like, say, for example, you've broken up
Yep.
today, and then 6 months later, they come back and say, hey, I've changed.
See, there's more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah.
What was the reason of the breakup? Was it like due to jealousy or that she cheated? Some reasons could be because of external factors. I was really bogged down with work. I could not give you time. So, we're not compatible. Let's break up.
Yeah.
But today I'm in a better position. I can give you the time. Can we give it a try again? Or my parents didn't approve of you. But today my parents said, I think she was a nice guy. Shall we give it a shot again? So there's all genuine reasons that I may want to say yes. Let's give it a shot again.
But now this question about if she was an abuser or you're an abuser, whatever that you guys
That's different things.
would you take the person back? For me, if you don't try, how would you know?
Ryan, please.
No, it's in fact. If you don't take the person back, how would you know if the person have changed or not?
Yeah.
Because
But you remember what you said in the last podcast?
What?
That people never change.
people never change.
You said that.
It was a reel.
No,
It was a short.
Wait, look
It's on Instagram.
I
You want us-
posted that.
You want us to open it?
Wait, should I tell you
So
something?
why are you saying people will change?
People can change.
Can change.
People can change.
But it doesn't necessarily mean they will change.
Yes, it's like this now. It's very simple. If someone's change, you can't change someone. Only the person can change himself. So, like I said, you can't change someone, but the person can change themselves. If the person say they are changed and they come back and they say, I'm a changed person and I'm now good. I'm not the person you used to know. Like I'm not an abuser. I won't be harsh to you anymore. I'm the sweet or whatever. And of course, if you don't give the person a chance, how would you know the person is actually saying the truth or
Okay,
not?
don't forget. Okay, I will say this for the sake of audience watching us, right? When we talk about abuse, don't forget, like I said, number one tool is fear. And this fear is usually exercised through manipulation and control. Okay? And when you talk about manipulation, gaslighting and all of that, all these fall under what? Manipulation. Don't forget, somebody who has abused you for 2-3 years and you guys broke up, and all of a sudden he's saying, I'm a new person, I've changed. Does that not look like a form of manipulation?
It is. It is.
It's not out.
Right.
But
So even the act of trying to make up is already looking like manipulation that you've suffered for 2 to 3 years. I'm not saying that when it comes to repentance, people cannot change from being abusers. But what I'm saying is, don't forget that even the process of affirming a change
So you're trying
is
to
already
I
manipulative
don't want to
or
take
can
this.
be
I don't want to
manipulative.
take this to a kind of
Yeah, let's go.
Because if you say manipulation,
Yeah.
just like now, someone has been a bad person,
Yes.
and the person now is telling you it's good and is preaching to you, and you're trying to say the person manipulating you.
No, this is what I'm saying. Okay. I wanted to reserve this for later, but I'm going to say this. When it comes to abuse, most times, right, people know they might be doing some form of abuse, but they don't even know why they are doing it. And if you want to really solve a problem, you have to tackle the root. So if you don't even know why you are abusing somebody, you are abusing your girlfriend, how could you come back in 2-3 months and say, I have changed?
Yes. That means a lack of awareness.
Yes. That's why I say
the
it takes a
manipulation.
level of self-development
Development.
and self-awareness.
Or
And I
about
tell you
someone that
realistically,
that has that
from-
self-development and awareness,
Okay.
and he knows
Okay.
that this is
And-
what
okay,
he
let me
was
answer
doing
that.
wrong
Yes,
based on
yes,
communication
yes.
with
I'm
him and
gonna
his
answer
partner.
that. I'm gonna
And
answer
he,
that.
And he knows this is
Yes.
my wrong. This is what I've been doing wrong, and I've changed. I wouldn't do this anymore.
Okay, can I answer that?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
And I'm saying this from the enormousness of my experiences
As what?
a relationship expert.
Yes.
This is not only my personal experience. This is empirical data from different persons that I've spoken to. When it comes to abuse, only therapy can make you change.
Absolutely.
If you have not seen a therapist, that claim of change is just a form of manipulation.
Why would you say that?
It's a form of manipulation.
No. Why? So why would you say only therapists can make
Venkat,
person
maybe
change?
you want to step
Okay.
into this as an expert.
No, because I don't
within your field.
agree to that. Only
Okay.
therapy can make person change.
This is an
I
expert.
gave you a very factual reason. because most of the underlying reasons why people abuse, when I say abuse, it talked about emotional intelligence. It is reasons that people don't even know.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
Because they're
You
not-
don't read a book. You don't read a book to understand your feelings. It is an in-depth analysis of your behavioral pattern.
Beautiful.
And it even takes grace, humility. There is a low level. You know what that low level is? To question your feelings.
Yes, self-analysis.
So sometimes okay, we are three friends, right? And we are always hanging out. All of a sudden, I check Instagram and I see you're hanging out with him.
Yep.
I could feel jealous.
Of course.
But as a sensible person, what will I do? As a rational person, I'm going to question that feeling of jealousy and tell myself,
Why
okay,
did that
this is a form of insecurity. Now, I tell you, most human beings don't have that.
Which is
now,
what I said.
now, that is a low level. Let's go to a higher level, which is what I'm telling you now. The ability, the grace and humility it even takes to admit that I am an abuser, and this is where the problem is coming from.
Thank
Yes.
you.
It's my past.
Yes.
So you see,
Yeah,
even the first level is something most people don't do, questioning their feelings.
Yeah.
Now, the second level, which I'm talking about, is, so that is why I said only therapy. Okay, I wouldn't say that's a very blatant statement, but therapy is a very important tool to
Okay, maybe say, but
You understand?
Say only therapy, because now
You
just
understand?
that therapy, who's therapy?
hardly 1 out of 10 persons that will be able to.
like why would he say only therapy can change the person? Like,
I know why you're talking like this because you're from Nigeria. We don't believe in that. We don't believe in that. But you should go to the US.
No,
You should
you're
go to
not-
the US.
I'm-
Even
I'm-
here in
I'm-
Malaysia.
I'm Nigerian. I'm not. I'm from
Therapy is a
Africa,
thing, right?
It is a thing. It is.
What-
Therapy is a thing, man. Don't be acting like a village boy from
it's
Nigeria.
not- it's fine. It's not about therapy.
Okay, calm down now. Calm down. Please. Take a step back, eat some cinnamon, and relax. Venkat, please.
Yeah.
Share with us. I know this is an area of expertise in what you're doing in the field. Sometimes even accidentally doing it as well. Please share with us your thoughts.
To add on to whatever Kay was also saying, I mean, so it doesn't only need to be therapy, but we can go for relationship coaching. Now, the first question is, do you realize what wrong that you have done first? Your ego comes in.
Grace. It takes grace and humility.
Yes.
You know how many men
accept it that I did wrong.
You know how many men will frown out a woman telling him, let's go for coaching or relationship therapy.
Then-
you know how many men will frown at that? Naturally, men don't like to hear those kind of things. That another man will sit us down and tell me I have a problem. Men don't like to hear that. That's why it takes grace and humility to even admit that I am an abuser and these are the reasons. And that is a very high level. I told you, even the first level of advanced thinking, humanity, you know, to make yourself a better person, self-development and awareness, to question your feelings. People don't usually do that. People just give in to their emotions, give in to their feelings. And as long as they feel a certain way, every action is justified.
Yes.
This is what is happening around us today. So this one we're talking about, grace and humility to even accept that you're an abuser and also tracing the reason behind the abuse. Bro, not even 1 out of 10, 0.01 out of 10. Trust me.
It's
Really?
it's very
That
low.
rare?
It's the male egos. I'm never
Yeah.
wrong. I'm never wrong, right?
You think you're going to defeat your ego?
Yeah.
If I can just add on,
think so.
there was a video that
Everybody's ego is bigger than them.
What you say?
But you can take it control, please.
No, there
Yes.
was a video that I watched, a documentary actually about convicted felons who went into jail for domestic abuse, right?
Okay.
And they were sat down, they had to go to classes on why are you feeling this way? Exactly like what Kay is saying, right? So it's almost Alcoholics Anonymous, but for
Right.
abusers.
Okay.
So what I saw from that documentary was basically the thing that people struggled with the most was acknowledging that, yes, I did this wrong. So
Self-admittance.
so
Yeah.
if you can't even acknowledge it to yourself and look yourself in the mirror and said, I was a terrible person to this person.
Thank you.
You
And
know?
the person come to months time and say, I
Yes,
changed.
it's hard.
No,
And
that
because
is another form
Exactly.
of psychological manipulation
because
or psychological
when your
abuse.
ex comes back to you, right, and they've been physically abusive towards you, sexually abusive, emotionally abusive to you, whatever kind of abuse that is going on, when they come back to you, they're going to show you the green grass, they're going to show you the blue skies, they're going to show you the sun. They
Life
want
in
to
a
create
rose-colored glass,
they want
basically.
to show you, they want to create a safe space for you to let your guards down again, because they know that you've already had control of this person once. You can definitely do it again.
Yes. Yes.
So
What if I come to you, right, saying that, okay, I would like to change because I value the relationship. I've realized my mistake or my faults. I would like to go for some counseling or coaching. Can you be there with me also to help build this relationship between you and me?
Yeah.
What if I threw this question to you, to the partner? What would be your answer?
that would be actually really valid.
That is
That
a
would be
smart
very valid.
way.
Right?
It's the same thing.
Okay,
Right?
no, Brian, this is a moment of knowledge.
Yes.
Ladies out there, in case you don't know how to tell your husband to seek counseling or therapy, that is a smart way. Please, can you go over it again, Bucket? We are not just doing this for chasing clients.
Yes. One more time. Can you
Please,
repeat what you
Can
just
you
said?
repeat what you said?
Is it recorded? Can I rewind back? So my question I'm going to pose is:
Yeah.
so let's say I realize my mistakes in the relationship. I could have been an abuser, right? I realize my mistake, but I value the relationship now, not the value of my own ego. I put that aside. I value this relationship. So I come to you. Can you give me one more chance? I will go for counseling. I will go for relationship coaching, but I want you to be there to help me support this. Would you say yes to that?
I would say, for me, yes, I would say that because it comes from a place of utmost humility.
Right?
And
That's
there
what
is a
this
third
coach is
party.
mentioning.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So,
Yes.
so if
So
you say
coaching,
yes,
therapy,
that means
counseling?
That's the only ground on which you should
Okay, that's
substantiate
then-
that claim of change from that abuser.
only with based on if kids are going for therapies
No.
or what.
No, based
Is-
on
Are you outside this studio?
No, it's a fact. Because what you're saying, I'm not
let's-
taking
let's-
that
let's
because
hear that.
you can't tell me that only if first you said you're not going to take the person back. You're not going to take if
No,
the person
I didn't
abuser.
give my opinion.
That's of course.
I was
that's
saying
what you're
that is
saying.
what
But
an
now,
expert said.
but now you're agreeing to this that you can take the person back if you guys are going for therapy together.
I said
Let me-
it. I said
okay,
it.
it's,
I
it's
do
two,
feel-
yeah, it's a
I-
completely different topic.
I
Yeah.
do feel like what you're saying is, I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I think generally there is a very, very small percentage of people who actually have the self-awareness and humility
I'm saying, bro.
and accountability to go
That's
through
what I'm
it.
saying. Look
It's
at
the same
probability.
thing it's the same thing like you telling the person, I'm a changed person and I'm now good. I'm not going
Bro,
to do
it's
the
not
same
the same.
thing.
No,
To me, I feel
It's not the
And
same.
I-
Bro, it's
I
not the
approve.
same.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
What's the difference there?
It's not the
Only
same.
because of you guys need to go to therapy together.
No. Okay, so the difference is this, right? So example, I've cheated you for your money. I'm gonna completely change the context here. Okay. I've cheated you for money. And then 2 months later, I come back to you and say, hey, I've got something big going on. I'm a change guy. I'm not going to take your money for nothing. Trust me, you're going to get it back.
Good luck to you.
What would you say? Would you give me again?
That's different.
It's the same.
No,
but
it's not
trust-
different. It's the
trust is
psychology
there.
behind it.
The reason why I'm saying that is because one, I am not aware enough to tell you how I lost the money. I did not acknowledge my wrongdoings to you and say, bro, I lost the money because I trusted someone else with it. Coming back to relationship. If I was the abuser towards you and I'm not admitting that I abused you, and when you tell me, but babe, do you even realize you've done this? And then I react and like, no, I didn't do this.
But
I'm a
now,
changed man.
it's like this.
Would you?
Yeah.
Good.
God
But
bless you.
you-
He has nailed it. He has nailed it completely.
You're admitting that you're an abuser, but you want to change, right?
Yes.
But why? Only with
Brian, when
Because
was
they
the
realize
last
their
time
mistakes.
a girl apologized to you? You are married now.
And
I
then
mean,
you-
in your past, right?
I can't remember
And
mine for
that
so long.
apology came with.
I can't remember anymore.
When was the last time a girl apologized to you and that apology came like, take me back and all of that? I did this. And that is what I'm sorry for. No, they just say, I'm sorry for everything.
Yes.
Yep.
And in most cases, when you ask them why you're sorry for, they'll actually say, because I just don't want us to fight. Do you know what we are fighting
Oh,
for?
they would even tell
I'm
you.
just
they
sorry
would
for
even tell
hurting
you.
you. It's such
That's
a
why I
blanket
said that is a
statement.
that is a
We need to
form
go
of
deeper.
manipulation. I would rather choose to see that as a form of manipulation.
Yes.
You're coming back to me after 2 or 3 years of abuse. We broke up. You're coming back and you tell me that, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a changed person. Let's get in. That is a form of psychological.
after 3 years
abuse.
or whatever, and the person comes back and he admits now and he's telling you that this is what I did this, I did it, and can you really take me back? What will you say? You say yes, right?
If they
You
admit,
take the person back
and they are
because of the
actively
person
working on it.
admitted to his fault,
Personally-
so whatever, right?
Personally,
No, that's what she just said. You guys agreed to that.
Yes.
So what's different now?
Bro.
You're telling me that because the person agreed or said this is what he did wrong, is he did this, you take the person back. A lot of people will do that. A lot. How many people?
I'm
do you,
telling
how
you
many
that
do you,
naturally,
how many do
most
you
people
know?
will not just do that.
No,
Do you
don't say
understand?
that because you can't.
Most people don't do
you
that.
can't say that.
Most
How did you
times-
get into that? How do you know about that? How do you know about people?
Empirical data.
I think
From where? Show me.
How can I show you?
No, you
I
can't
should give
do
a
that.
catalog of all the
No,
people
I
I've
don't
spoken
know
to.
because
People like to continue
No, you
something.
can't.
no, I
you can't
think
just
most
say.
of the times, right?
You can't say.
You kind of learn it from experiences, right? Whatever relationship that is, even if we take out abuse.
So how many relationships have you
Even when
been
we-
to and,
even
and,
when we
and they
take
didn't tell you, okay, I was
Don't ask
wrong.
her because I asked you just now. When was the last time a girl listed all her errors? You say you forgot it.
Of course.
Okay,
No,
please.
see,
Let's
it is
continue.
like this. Most people do this. They'll tell you,
Okay.
okay, I was wrong in this, I was wrong in that.
No, don't say that. It's not true.
I think even-
audience
does
can-
that.
not many people do that. People just say sorry. Sorry for what? I'm sorry for everything. I don't want us to fight. I want us
Yeah.
to be
I think-
peaceful.
How
I'm a
selfish is
changed
that?
person.
Yeah.
So superficial, bro.
Yep.
So now you want people.
I'm not
I
saying
think
somebody
even-
should come and kneel and cry. No, I'm saying that in my own, honest opinion, there should be a third party counseling.
Yep.
Intervention.
Because
Without that, there is no way I will not see that as even a form of manipulation. You are trying to manipulate me back because they don't miss you for you. They miss the good times
They
you
miss
gave
the
them.
power, the control, the
so your
dominance.
third party counseling
Bro, stop.
is
Let's
what?
continue.
Your
I'm-
third party counseling
No,
is what?
actually, even
Last
if you
Your
comment on
third party
this,
counseling is
right?
what?
When it comes to this counseling coaching,
Yes.
please stop seeking advices from your own circle of friends.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Okay,
Okay,
they
no,
are the
good.
worst
This
people
is what I want.
ever.
I was trained that question. Third party
That's why
counseling
I'm
is
adding on
what?
to what you're saying.
Because of if you say third,
Professional therapists,
A neutral
renowned
party.
ones, renowned
an
ones.
unbiased,
Not your friend.
How are you sure?
certified,
What is-
accredited person should be the one commenting on you and your partner fixing your relationship.
exactly.
When I say
Thank
third
you.
party, of course, third party is an outsider, not your friend,
Yeah. They're
not
gonna
your
be neutral.
cousin, not
A
your
neutral
uncle.
party, like
A
what you said,
neutral
non-dis-
party,
judgment,
and especially someone
non-biased.
who is specialized in that field.
That's it. Full
how
stop.
are you sure
All right,
it's
let's go.
specialized?
Let's go.
No, the auntie, your uncle, your neighbor,
Bro,
your
please stop.
BFF.
I swear.
Bro, just stop.
I'll push because to
Can
me,
I just add like a little quick thing?
Sure.
If you look at it from this perspective, right, it's not only the abuser that needs the therapy, but it's also the abused who also needs the
victim,
therapy.
yeah.
You know, because it's not only
That's
for
why I
him.
said two of them should go.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why I
so
said
when
the two of them,
when you
please come with me.
if he
Let's
comes
go.
to me and he's like, "Hey, let's go to therapy together."
One question: have the both of you gone for therapy?
We are therapists.
Because it's so good. The conversation is so good.
Actually-
Okay, no, have you guys gone? Because you guys can actually
I actually went.
experience. So,
I actually went.
but what?
Yeah.
But you never experienced anything. You never
For
shared.
therapy. I
Yeah,
never
but-
shared. That
I
doesn't mean I've never
actually-
experienced it.
Oh,
I
I
actually-
went for it.
Why are you guys
Drink.
focusing on Brian? Brian's from Nigeria.
No.
We don't believe in that. Let's continue.
No. The reason why this is actually a very important
No,
thing.
it's
Kay.
important.
It's
Yeah.
important because
Yes.
there are majority of people who actually don't understand why it is important for people to be self-aware. Now, I don't blame Brian because probably from the culture he comes from, maybe it,
That's why he keeps arguing.
Yeah, because
no, I
he
come from that
he needs an
country,
understanding around
but
this.
I understand that it is essential
Yeah.
To
in
me,
the
that's
case
essential.
of
Okay.
abuse
Okay, so
to
it is like
have
this.
a third party
Yeah.
counseling.
Yep. You have to.
Yes, it is like this. Okay,
Self-acclaimed
you
relationship.
when you
expert.
go for therapy, Chisom, when you go for therapy,
Yeah.
the therapist will not take your side and say you're right,
No.
you're wrong. No, they will not. And if your partner is there, even more so, they will not do that. They will just stand in the center. Maybe your partner gives a statement. They're going to look at you. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
And then the partner says something, looks at the other person. What do you think? This is like this. What is she trying to say? And if you don't understand what your partner is saying, the therapist will actually say, look at it from this perspective and give
Always.
his
Yep.
understanding of what she is saying, not taking her sides. Many times men will take offense at the therapist and feel like they are on the side of the woman because the therapist understands her. We don't particularly understand her.
Because men live in a realm of logic. Women live in a realm of emotion.
And that's the beauty of it. Because many times we don't understand what we feel.
So again, back to the last logic and how many percent logic?
Okay, Chris,
Still
Becca,
60-40,
and
still
whatever,
60-40.
what you
Becca,
guys say.
please, we're going to move on.
Don't think that therapy is expensive, counseling is expensive. Huh?
Yeah.
There's a lot of relationship coach all over the world doing it on pro bono. They
Yes.
just want to save people.
Yep.
A lot of us are drowning, and there's a lot of help outside.
Even right
For pro
here.
bono. Even right here.
Even right here.
Yes, thank you.
There's a lot
so
of
don't
people.
think therapy, it's thousands of dollars. No.
Yes.
All right, so please do reach out.
If
There's
they
a
are,
support
if
system.
if
Yes.
people like me in this world, they'll all go broke.
No,
because I won't go there.
that's why there's more of us than you.
But actually, he's sounding like a typical guy, though.
It's a
Yes,
fact.
yes. it
No.
is.
Men don't like to hear these things.
But this
Yes.
is actually the opinion of most people.
It's tough
you
to
know.
talk about this, to be honest. Now, I want to move into
Come.
something called escaping abuse. But before we get there, actually, there's a lot of wonderful
Escaping abuse.
things shared on TikTok. Okay, so Ellie, is it Ellie Baby? I hope I'm saying your name right. I agree. You can't change someone unless they themselves decide to make that
Absolutely.
change. Beautiful. Lala also agreed to that. He is gonna get back to his horrible self once he has you. Okay, and I think this is your friend, I think, and this is very, very common in people who has not really understood what change is really about within themselves. Pati said this very for you, Tisom, for you. If you have a bone problem, you go to the bone doctor. If you have a problem with your teeth, you go to the dentist. If you have a problem with your relationship, you go to the
Therapist.
I go to myself and go and think about stuff.
you go to the alcohol store.
I go somewhere.
You're on point.
Cam, zoom into me, guys. Alcohol is not the solution. Addiction is only a temporary escape to
Don't
fill in the
create
hole.
one more problem.
Yes, it is trying to fill in a hole by using something else that's going to create another hole in your life. Addiction is not the solution.
The therapist is not. You're trying to use using the person to fill up the hole. Are you sure it's not going to
But
create another
therapist is
hole?
not an addiction. You don't go to the therapist
It's
because
an
you're
addiction.
addicted to him.
The way you're saying it now, like it's an addiction.
My man, we're going to have a very long conversation after this, but it's okay. Let's move to the final topic, which is escaping abuse. How do one escape abuse? Because there are many relationships, even though they are known to be abused, they are known to abuse their partners, and sometimes they're aware of it in a single relationship, but they choose to stay together. First, why? Why do people decide that? Why do people?
Stigma. Stigma is one of them.
Please go deeper into this.
No, but let's go this figure. Let's let you open the mic up.
No, it's okay. You can,
No,
you can,
stigma,
you can
please.
shoot, please.
Stigma and responsibilities that I have as a mother or a father. I have 3 kids. What are they going to do if I go through a divorce? What will society say if I go through a divorce? No, I walk tall, I wear a jacket, I wear tie, I'm a CEO of a company, and I don't want society to think that I'm going through a divorce because I failed in that area. I must always look as a winner. Most of my coaches that I go through because, oh no, so what do? I'm a father, got responsibilities. But every night you don't get any love. There's no intimacy. There's no warmth at home. So why don't you look into the avenue of divorce? Oh, my kids.
But essentially you're ruining the lives of your kids.
Right? They don't see the parents together. Right? There's no warmth. I always tell my students, today the world of pram came into the world, right? The pram. But how did our grandparents bring us up? Here, right? There's always a warmth there. Why are the kids and the parents having a cold relationship? There's no warmth. Go back to basics if you ask me. So if you're coming to a home now, there's no warmth. How do you think a child's going to be towards you?
Cold.
There's a lot of things for you to ponder, and only if you go to a neutral party, they'll put these thoughts into you.
Yes.
You're not doing justice to the kids. Right? So that's my take.
Staying is sometimes not the solution.
But staying is definitely not the solution.
Okay, would you like to share something?
Yeah, let it go.
He's going back in his mode like, oh gosh, this is so good.
Don't you have a word for that?
Okay.
You should have a word for that.
I'll coin one very soon.
Yes.
But I would like to say, sorry, I'm going to take us a bit back to what we were talking about just now, right? When it comes to abuse in relationship, right? I like to say this, the cycle. We talked about somebody coming back and all of that. The cycle, it starts with tension, and then from tension, there is explosion, and then there is a honeymoon stage, right? So the tension, which is the first stage of abuse in a relationship, is usually that time people are confused. The victim is confused because she's thinking, am I going to say something that will trigger him? Stuff like that. She's confused. And then you have the explosion where the abuser himself gets out of hand, gets into rage and all of that, and does the action. And then you have the honeymoon stage where the abuser becomes affectionate all of a sudden. Very small, intermittent state where all of a sudden someone that beat you mercilessly an hour ago, he comes and buys you flour.
Because he feels sorry.
No, not
No.
because he feels sorry, because it is manipulation.
Yep.
It's a tactic. It's tactics. And the significance of that honeymoon is why that kind of research I saw on YouTube, the women say, I love my husband, but he beats me. Because he's holding on to hope.
So it's
The
an emotional
hope-
connection through the beating.
That's why some women will say, he's a nice guy. It's just that when he's angry, he does things out of hand. No, bro. Sorry, no, miss.
Wow. Wow.
Do you know-
If he is beating you, that is not a form of love.
Mm.
That is not a form of love. And if you are now normalizing that, it's because you have been trapped. It's called trauma bondage.
Mm.
Well,
Another term
bondage.
coined. Trauma bondage.
No,
This is a real
this
thing.
one
This
is a real thing. Okay.
Yeah,
I
trauma
never heard of that,
bonding.
but cool.
That is somebody messes you up mentally, your emotion, abuses you physically. After abusing you for such a long time, and then it follows with small form of, affection, care, kindness. And that is to make you hold on to. Because, like I always say something, which I wrote down. I said, in every facet of life, every ramifications of life, if there is a 50-50% of something positive or negative happening, a 50-50 outcome, your brain will always choose the negative.
Negativity bias. they call
Yes. Yeah, negativity bias. So it will always switch fight or flight mode.
There's one thing-
But on the other hand, it is only in relationship your brain prioritizes.
The positive.
You said something about if you beat someone you love, it's not that you don't beat someone you love, right? You said something like that.
Yes.
So when you're a child and your parents beat you, do they love you?
Yes.
Bro, that is family, right? We are talking
It's a
of man
different
and woman.
Relationship,
Man and woman.
Relationship is what? If you're married to someone, the person is what?
Domestic
The person-
violence, bro.
If
Listen
you're married
to
to
me.
someone-
Listen
if you're
to
married
me.
to someone, the
I
person
want
is
to
what?
do a
The person is not
disclaimer
family.
for Wet Waters.
Is
I
the
want to
person
do a
not family?
disclaimer.
Okay.
We are
disclaimer,
not a
please.
party to domestic violence.
No,
bro.
no.
It's not an act of love.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Because if you think like that too, I'm trying to think in another way.
Yes.
Because you said it that
Yes,
the
I said
person, if the person is beating the person you don't love the person or what. But me, I'm saying when you're a child,
No. That's
if
not
your
what I
parents
said.
beat you-
I said if your partner,
beats you,
your parent is not your partner now.
Mm.
Yeah.
I said if your partner, if you have a wife,
then you said
that
something
will
that
hold
that's
your-
family. You said that's family.
Yep.
Yeah.
So your partner is what? Not family.
Bro, we're talking of partner, not parents. And we're not talking of parents-children relationship. We're talking of partner, spouse, man, woman, or man and man these days, right?
Yes.
So,
If I could just interject though,
Please.
I think, when it comes to corporal punishment as a form of discipline, especially for children, I think there's a very thin line, that you can go to without your child growing up to become a very broken person. Because your children are very spongy little things, and they absorb a lot of things, and they don't have the emotional capacity nor the logical capacity to understand that I'm trying to teach you this so you don't become bad. So
So you
this
just-
child
you
might.
just, well, okay, all right.
This child-
I'm just
no,
trying
but
to.
I know what
put
you're
this
saying.
Another way. I'm trying to
Brian,
understand
you
from
cannot,
every
I
point.
definitely
Brian,
know
you
where you're
cannot
coming
take
from
one
with this.
analogy from one context and relate it to another context that is not relatable.
But it is safe.
You understand?
But it's also
We're
like-
talking of man and woman relationship.
No. Okay,
Physical
for me-
abuse is not a form of love or affection.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The love and affection that follows
Nobody
is
said
not
it
a
is, but I'm-
justification or a proof that the guy loves you. No, it is an intentional tactic to manipulate you to hold on to that small kindness, that small affection. So after many years, you become even immune to the beating. And if it doesn't even beat you, you will have to misbehave.
Yes. Yes.
You want to talk of victimization?
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
And interesting. Just to add on to what Kitty also was saying when it comes to home, with the parents, don't forget. I mean, we don't encourage the cane, but they were leaders of the house. They were disciplining us. Okay,
Yeah.
that's one thing. That's different. In a relationship, I've got no right to discipline my partner.
Correct.
So why is abuse coming in? That's
Yeah.
different.
Yes.
Household is different because they were the leaders.
Yes.
All right.
I think he's
In
just
the relationship-
intentionally trying to attack.
No, I don't know, but this is bringing on something very important that
Come.
I've discovered, or should I say that I've come to know. Okay, so when we're growing up as kids, especially kids in a domestic abuse environment,
Yeah.
that they don't get abused, but they see their parents fighting and beating each other up, especially the man beating the woman.
Yeah.
And this person so happens to be a guy, right? A little son that grows up and dates someone or even gets married to that person, and they exhibit the attitudes or the experiences that they experienced as a child to what their father was doing to their mother. In their mind, they associate love by what they see.
Yep.
Very misguided. And I'm not saying that it's right, but it happened.
Okay, now,
It happened.
because of
Now, I don't know if you intentionally brought that up, but that
He didn't know what he was saying.
but that point was so important.
It's fun. You see, sometimes I want in this thing, you need to take it everywhere. We
want his side now.
we
We are
can't just be in one direction. We can't be in one direction. That's why
That's not what you meant, bro.
See, bro, it's not. See, that's why I asked that question. When you said something, that's what just mind me you're talking. When I asked that question, like go back to culture. In America, you can't beat your child. In Nigeria, you can beat your child.
Right?
And you can go and make a report that my parents are abusing me in America. But in Nigeria, there's no such.
If you go report, what will
So
police
what's your
say?
point? What's your point?
What I'm saying is that now when you said that if you love someone, you can't show love. That you said something about love. If you beat the
I
person,
said domestic violence is not proof of love.
Agreed.
it's not domestic violence now. You said about beating.
Okay.
When you say beat,
Beating is
I can be okay if you beat
Commercial
the person,
violence.
If you beat the person to show love and you love the person, you really love the person and you beat the person. What's up? What's up?
I'm not talking of just person. I'm talking of partner.
Your partner, yes. What if you beat your partner? You really love your partner. You outshow love. You beat your partner, show
Can I
love.
just
Fine, let me
ask-
answer,
I'm
let me
just
answer
saying.
this before you say that.
I'm not saying it's
listen.
good. I'm not saying
I
it's
love
good.
the
I'm not
fact-
saying it's good.
yes, I
but
love
I'm
the
just
fact-
saying that I'm actually going. I'm thinking out
Brian,
loud.
I know you're
And
being
that's it.
objective and
Yeah.
you're trying to talk from a holistic point of view, every perspective. And your question is, if you love someone, what's the question? If you love someone,
You beat the person to show love.
you beat the person to show love. And
Yes.
the question I'm gonna answer that
Just like the way
with
our
a-
parents would beat us because of the love us,
Yes,
they want us to
I-
change.
I
and this is
understand.
my
Yes,
partner.
though.
Brian,
Yeah,
Brian,
you understand? This is my
Marcus,
this
don't worry.
This
I'm
my
not to
child.
take
I
care
want
of
to
him.
beat him, so I love him, so he
Okay.
will change.
Okay.
Now I'll beat you, so you will change.
You beat the woman so that she will change.
because
And
you
that's
love
because
her. You love her.
And I'm
And you want
going
to beat her
pose
to
the same
change her.
question to you.
I'll
If your
just-
wife beats you to show that she loves you, are you going to accept that?
If your partner
fine. She
beats
can
you,
beat
will you
me.
accept
If she can
that?
beat
If she can
you.
Is
beat
that
me,
a show of
fine.
love?
Because of it's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. If the person love you and the person, now if I'm just okay, I'm not trying to say that you should beat.
You're not
the
saying
lady.
that's your opinion.
No,
but
I'm just bringing this in every like I'm trying to change this.
But I just told you, the answer to that is, would you be fine if she beats you up simply because she claims she loves you?
If that's how she expresses her love, then
Oh my God.
Will you accept it?
It's
Oh my
so
God.
be it, but I
You
won't
see your
accept
clause?
it.
I asked you
I won't
a question.
accept it.
Like-
But
like
I'm
save
just
me.
saying some people
Save me.
would. Some
Okay.
people would accept because of
And
that's how
that's- and
it's
that's
some
the
people. But
conversation.
I'm not
Can
trying
I
to
just
say.
give a strong message?
Please.
Okay.
Valentine's Day is coming one more week. Do not buy a boxing glove or a cake. Continue buying flowers. Show the real love, please.
Don't mind it. Okay, actually, I'll just do it
Yeah,
just to twist the whole thing
Yes.
around.
No,
because
But
I
I'm not yet to say
Okay,
that.
Kitty, please.
No, because
We
I
need
was
such
gonna ask
discussion.
when did violence become the measure for love?
Exactly.
You know,
But
it should
isn't
never
that
be.
an ancient belief. I mean, it's been around since way before our great
So
great.
it's
Absolutely.
time for us to wake up. We don't
Yes.
live in that era.
That's why
Yes.
you have this podcast.
Exactly. So conversations are important because, like we've said, I think we've said it before that awareness is a very big factor in
Very big
anything.
factor.
So just because something has been done in the olden days, it doesn't mean that it's correct.
Yes.
Because if that was the
Because
case,
there
then we
were-
would still be, in using
There were
green paint that has
there were-
lead in it, or
there were times
or-
that there was no tissue paper. People use leaf to wipe their stuff, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to do that now? Because they did it that time.
It's possible. If there's no tissue paper and I still leave, I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay, moving from tissue paper and leaves. Fun fact, or should I say important fact, increased risk of violence that it is found that upon leaving an abusive partner,
Good.
there is a 75% increase in violence for at least 2 years. There is such a study that actually showed that. How they prove that is, I would like to find out. And homicide rates, approximately 77% of domestic violence related homicides occur upon separation. Why do you think that happens?
Yes, because An abuser will feel disgruntled when there is no object to abuse. That's the point. Because don't forget, abuse is, I said there is one tool for abuse, and that tool is fear. And that fear is manifested in two things: manipulation and control. As a dictator, if there's nobody to dictate to, your essence is ruined already, right? So when a victim gets out of that cycle of abuse, this guy is bored. He has nothing to do. That's why at the end of the day, they will go and start committing homicide, or what was it called? Homicides?
Yeah, homicides.
Homicides, right? Yeah. They commit homicides.
Or some kind of violence related.
Violence related or threats and stuff.
Threats, yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically the main reason, because there is no object to control anymore. You know?
Yep. It's a loss of control. So they're now in a state where they don't know what to do anymore. And this is like what I've experienced, right? So the moment I decided to leave for real, okay, he now realizes that I'm no longer here.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to fix things up. I've gotten in touch with authorities. I've moved places. I've done all these things, you know? So, and then I started seeing like, you're stalking me. You're at my office. You're threatening my family. You're threatening my loved ones. You're threatening my colleagues. And then I start to think, is this worth it? Am I putting other people's life at risk just for me? You know? So that's why things drag on, I feel. And also that's why people don't really do much. But actually, yes, this is the right thing to do. Stay on the path.
We are talking under the subtopic escaping
Abuse.
abuse.
Yes.
Yes. She says something. Involve the right authority. Guys, involve the right authority.
Please.
Because like the statistics has it, there's a lot of threats, violence, homicides and stuff that comes after an abuser gets out of an abusive relationship. You know? And sometimes there is blackmail.
Yeah.
True.
There is blackmail.
Yeah.
All the things you guys share together and stuff, this person can take your photos or videos and put on social media.
Yeah.
So return to police or return
Yes.
to police. Whether you're in America, I think in America it's very serious.
Yeah.
If you blackmail your ex, that's
Is it
a
an
big
offense?
problem.
Yeah, they've made it.
But is it an offense here in Malaysia?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's coming strong.
it is.
It's coming strong.
Yeah.
In Malaysia too, right?
The laws comes in,
Bro, because people, we were talking about, abusers.
I actually hate hearing things like this, like when people threaten their
Yes,
ex
bro,
with
it's
things like
crazy.
that. I hate it.
It's crazy.
So I'm glad
anybody
that it's saying this.
it's crazy.
It's becoming something
And
serious
you
in Malaysia.
You see what he was asking, right? That's why I said they feel disgruntled. There is nobody to control. That's where the pain is coming from. That's why if they can't get hold of you physically and do some mayhem to you, they will take your nudes and put it online. Because all these abusers, the fact that you are no longer there, they hate that particular scenario.
Yeah.
They need someone to abuse, and you got out of that circle. So they want to get back at you.
That's interesting.
So that's the essence of this podcast.
Yes. Becca, you wanted to...
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that's running in their mind, right? I mean, they're going through distraught now because how dare my partner left me, right?
Yes.
We're supposed to be building our life together.
Yeah.
Hey, hello, it's because of myself that she left me. Then I realized she's doing well now. How dare she?
Yes.
How can she be doing well in her life when she's supposed to be building life together with me?
It was because of me that you're up now.
Yeah. So now it's eating me, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to alcoholism, do smoking, all that. At night, at midnight, 100 missed calls 100 calls I'll be giving her. At work, how come she's earning? Here I'm going to depression. It's a big hole. 100 missed calls. Is what's happening to this guy's mind? The devil comes in now.
Vanka, sorry to cut you short. I want to say this with no fear or favor. What he just described is what a lot of people do in society today.
Exactly.
See.
And the worst
I
thing,
don't
they're
want
not
to
even
use
aware of it.
vulgarities on this podcast.
Yes,
But
just
man,
something over.
F it. There are a lot of people with nice suits looking good in society that do these things.
Oh, yes.
They have good positions in society. They do these things. Like a guy sending a girl 100 text messages, 100 missed calls, simply because she's no longer there for you to abuse. So these things are very serious.
Very serious.
So the authorities must be involved.
Yep.
Then you as a victim, you must do what? Seek therapy. Seek therapy, bro. Don't sit down and say, "Oh, I am healed. I'm okay." Is this water time? Water break? All right.
You finish your point while we drink water.
Okay.
We did an emotional check-in. We felt thirsty.
Because everybody's doing it at the same time, right? So it's important. It's important. And then, okay, I don't want to talk too much. I want to ask. Some people, because of financial dependency, are in a relationship they cannot leave.
A lot.
Please, Vanket, you want to talk about this?
Would you like to share?
Financial
But-
dependency.
You want to share this?
Anybody else want to go first?
Go ahead.
No, it's
No.
no. You can start first, but the same thing, just like the first what I said in the beginning.
Yes.
When
Because there's a
the-
comment that's coming up as well. That's
the
very
guy
interested.
is making the woman be financially dependent on him.
Yes.
That he knows that
Control.
he's controlling her. That
Financial
Yes.
abuse.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know
Yes.
what's the worst thing is when that particular person, that particular woman, does not see light at the end of the tunnel. For her, she feels like if this guy goes away, I'm dead.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Because sometimes some women are in that situation. They're literally dead. They can't even
Yeah.
pay for rent.
Exactly.
So where are they going to
don't
run
see
to?
it.
Back to zero.
They don't see it.
A lot.
They're not-
This
A lot.
is the
A lot.
only reason why I would authorize feminism. Because now
No,
women
this-
can now work for themselves.
Beautiful.
And it's easier to make decisions.
To me, I don't- it's
Although
not
there is
about
still a
feminism
downside
or
to
what.
that.
It's
We're not going to
about-
go into
it's not about
that.
feminism.
No.
A
But
woman
what I'm
should be
saying
able to be,
is,
should be independent on her own.
Then I fire.
I don't care about no the fact, but a woman should be independent on her
Yes,
own. She
yes.
should be able to do just like I'll hear some people they'll say I don't want my partner to work, that she can't work, or if your partner is earning more than you start getting all crazy and you're feeling down, you're feeling jealous and all that. Like why?
Yeah.
Who needs you do need a liability in your life?
Why is it? Because, let's take me for example. It's my insecurity that she will leave me. I set a trap.
Because if she's doing better,
Both of us, let's go to the trap,
Yes.
entangled, and let's set a bank account together. Why? Or she leaves me. So it's because of my insecurity. Be careful, it's a red flag.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is a red flag.
Yeah.
In relationships, I always share this with a lot of people that I speak to. When it comes to relationships, two individuals coming together for a shared interest in spending the time with each other, but they should not give up completely their individuality for the other person.
This
That was
brings
the
me
point,
another
yes.
topic, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of us enter a relationship. Very soon, we forget our identity.
Yep.
Yes.
Biggest thing I'm going to
Yes.
remind all of y'all here.
Yes.
So I was a businessman, I was Venkat, I was a coach, I was a trainer. The moment I'm into a relationship, I'm a boyfriend or husband. I forget about all this. Tomorrow I'll ask myself, who am I and what am I? I forgot the who am I. I lost my total identity. Because of this manipulation, because of this own trauma, this toxic relationship I'm going through,
Yeah.
I've lost myself. And in a snake and ladder game, I've stepped on the snake now, back to zero in my life.
And I want to add on to this, into a new question as well. If you're aware that somebody close to you or somebody that is going through exactly that, as a friend, as a family member, as a coach, does that give you power to step in and intervene?
You were not sick before the relationship started. So let's not go into the relationship. It's very dangerous. Because you are this person's friend, not the other person's friend. You're adding oil to the fire.
Because there is an instance where people would want to step in, so-called saving the relationship, but they're doing more harm than
Okay,
anything else.
ask just now, who is this person? Is he qualified? Is he competent enough to come and assess the situation
Yes.
with non-biasness and non-judgmental views?
Yes. Aku, let's put it in the chat as well whenever you're ready. Should you intervene in other people's marriage
very
or
nice.
relationships if you see there is something wrong going there? Example, maybe you see the guy is abusing the girl and you're friends with the girl. Should you intervene or not? Yes or no?
I think Brian
I
wants to
wanna
say
hear.
something.
no, for me I'm fine.
Are you going to intervene?
Intervene in what?
For
This
example,
conversation?
for example, I am being abused in my relationship as a friend. Are you going to intervene?
Why should I intervene?
Oh.
Why should I intervene?
Even if you see the other person is getting beaten up,
Intervene.
as an example, I'm going extreme here.
Okay.
If you see that
Wait,
person is
wait,
getting
okay.
beaten up, whether they are
I
your
would,
friend.
if my friend, I would just talk to him, but it's left for him to decide.
Yeah. So not
It's-
intervene, alert them.
Yes, I would
This is
just
what you've
know. It's not.
noticed.
Yes, I won't come and be involved
Kitty wants to
fully.
say something.
Yeah.
I will just
Say
That's
something.
what I meant.
I will
Kitty wants to say
just
something.
share my thoughts, and it's left for you to decide.
All right.
I mean, I would hope you would physically stop the abuse from happening if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
seeing it happen,
Physical
right?
abuse, yeah.
Please
Yeah.
physically
But
stop
what if
it.
it's just a black eye every
Yeah.
Monday at work?
Like,
Your
You're a
friend.
pirate.
then definitely you should check in. You know,
It's
this.
not funny.
I can,
Wait. It's Kitty. The way you look like.
because you know, for me, that was how it started. The realization that was how it started for me. I was at work one day and I forgot to pull down my sleeves. So my boss saw a very
You
big.
actually experienced physical.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Where did you think I was coming?
I thought it was like her, you know, like her friend. Okay,
She
please,
read it
please.
on the book.
I was thinking it was that from that perspective, but you're
No.
an actual victim.
Survivor. You know. So, but like, yeah, so my boss saw the bruise. I forgot to pull it down. And so she asked me what was going on, you know? And I said, oh, I just fell down. Because for me, I'm still justifying, you know, the actions
Shame.
of my
Protecting
partner.
also in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shame. And I was protecting him because, you know,
And
at
because
some
they're
point,
manipulating you.
yes, because at some point at this point, it's been 2.5, almost 3 years, you know? So it was more like, I must have been doing something wrong, or I need to fix him because he grew up in this environment. So let me just show him all the love ever. So I'll fix it, you know? And then, but it just didn't work out that way. So I still couldn't figure out why I didn't want to leave or didn't know how to leave because, you know,
Because you're being manipulated.
yes,
You've been
because,
blinded by love.
yeah,
also.
because Kay brought it
I
up.
just told you.
Kay
It's
brought
the
it up. It was
negative,
Kay brought it up. It was
Yeah.
an intermittent.
once it, yeah. I mean, you will always hold on to that hope of change based on the little affection, that
Yeah.
intermittent period of time it gives you that affection and kindness.
Mhm.
And number two, I said, every time there is a 50% outcome of positivity and negativity, the brain will always choose the positive when it comes to relationship. It will always choose the positive.
It was
So there could be, maybe you're in a relationship where 6 days out of 7 days of the week, the guy is beating you mercilessly. Just that one day he doesn't beat you is what your brain will tell you is the reason why you should stay. There is hope.
That's hope.
Yep.
It's made the word fear into this word comfortable fear. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with this fear. I'll
Yes.
manage this
Yes.
fear now.
And your brain will give you 1 million reasons.
Oh, yes.
You
Your
mentioned it
neurons will
earlier.
give you 1 million reasons
Better the
why
devil you know.
Yeah.
it will work.
You know?
But doesn't that diminish us as the victim receiving the other end? It diminishes our self-value and our self-respect.
Absolutely. My self-worth at that point was at an all-time low. I couldn't tell you what I wanted to do because I would be like, let me check. Is he, you know, if anybody asked me a question, it would almost be like, I'd be looking to him for answers. It really felt like that.
It's a dictatorship.
It's
It's
embarrassing,
not
you
a
know, and
leadership.
for me, even moving, like, I think after getting out of the situation, I think still to this day, like little remnants of questioning
course.
myself will
It is
still
still there.
exist,
Yep, still
where
there.
I have to now tell myself, no, you don't question yourself anymore. You're okay. You're
Wow.
fine.
Yes.
And it's
So
and
did you
it's
visit therapist?
definitely, I definitely did.
Of course.
Okay.
That's why
I
she's
don't think-
championing that.
I'm a very big advocate
You
for
seem very surprised, Brian.
No, I'm just asking because
This is Malaysia, bro. This is not Nigeria. Wake
because
up.
I did when I spoke to my boss, when my boss had a conversation about it with me, she not only opened up to me a legal road for me to go on. Like she said, I would give you money for your lawyers, for whatever it is that you need, you know.
So
But she
that's true
also
support.
but she also gave me the names of some, you know, organizations that are there to help women or people who are in this situation. So that's
We have
very
10
important.
minutes before we have to wrap
Yes.
up. Okay?
And Verge, you see, we asked the question, right?
Yeah.
Whether you should,
Intervene.
This is a way to intervene. Don't rush into people's house and try to cause.
No, that's going to cause a lot
It
of
will
Well
setback.
said, yeah.
There'll be a setback,
Yeah.
So this is one way. You go to the police, and then you go to a therapist,
Right
and
channel,
then
right.
you involve a third party, and then in this case, like he said, right, when your friend or your relative is going through some abusive relationship and it is very, very evident that she needs help, this is how to help.
Yeah.
So you
Give
involve,
us suggestion.
involve authorities. That's what
Eh? No, no, no.
authorities?
No, she said her boss
Yeah.
Yeah.
gave us some
Yeah.
numbers and contacts of
Yes, involving the
people,
rights.
people that can
authorities.
take care of
Yeah.
things like that, right?
Okay.
Not you going to tell the girl, oh, your husband is this, that. The man will come for you later. So you have to be careful. You have to be sensible if you're doing anything, you know. You have to
Absolutely.
apply wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
Wow, thank you. So I think we're gonna start slowly going to wrap this entire episode, and I'm gonna end it on a very strong message. But before we do that, final words from you guys. I want to hear final thoughts. Let's start with Brian.
Definitely. My final thoughts on this is that even though at the other time I was talking about not beating your child and beating your partner, actually, I don't take violence or take abuse from like any partner. You shouldn't abuse your partner. So what I'll tell people, if you facing abuse or this whatever, any kind of way, like Kid said earlier, you should know how to reach out to the right authorities for your situation. You don't need to stay. And if you have this thing, and like you guys said, visit therapists, but I don't know about that, but it's okay. You should visit the therapist, but you should know how to go to the right authorities. Authorities, yes, I know about that. You should visit the right authorities. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you for the sharing. Venkat, any sharing from you?
Slightly longer.
Yeah.
I'll send out a strong message.
We've got 7 minutes.
Right. Because if we're talking about abuse in a relationship, so before you even go into a relationship, before the abuse starts, whether you're in a relationship now or about to, please set some boundaries. Talk about the boundaries with your partner because you are important. So before you pass the baton to others in a relationship, tell yourself you're important, set some boundaries, and respect your own personal space and see whether the other person is respecting the personal space. Okay? That's one message. Number two, before you go out to find a relationship, let's go and dig a bit deeper on self-love. The void that you have, you think an external party can fill up the void. No, you must fill up your own void first, and that's self-love. So a strong message I want to give is set boundaries. People should respect your personal space. Number two, fill up your own void first. Go and study about self-love. And the last is the value of relationship and the value of your own goals. You must know when to switch between these two. When you got to walk out, walk out. If you value the relationship, help it work it out.
I would also want to add on and maybe ask your advice on this. What would be a really good starting point for people who are just beginning to have the awareness of maybe I'm in an abusive relationship? How would you be able to give them maybe the first step on garnering that awareness?
Whether they're in a toxic relationship or abusive relationship.
Yes.
What we already discussed this actually.
Yep.
Talk to a third party. There's a lot of online help also. Right? Talk to a third party.
Which is not your friends or your family.
Never.
Yeah.
Never a known person.
Yep.
Never a known person.
Yep.
You wanting to do that already is a first step. Your mind is set to seek help. Please do it. Listen to this and listen to this also. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
you,
sharing.
Vijay. Nice
Venkat.
question.
Powerful sharing. Kitty.
Yeah. So I think wrapping up everything, we've had a very interesting discussion, and I think it's been really, really great in terms of being awareness. I think the only thing that I want to really, really stand for right now is just knowing your value and knowing your self-worth and always realizing that there is a way out. You know, for those of us who are watching who might be going through the situation and you might not know what to say right now, there's always a way out. There are some organizations that you can go to who will consult you, shelter you even. So that's what I just wanted to share.
Thank you. Thank you for that sharing. Beautiful empowerment right there. Mr. K.
Self-acclaimed relationship expert.
Yeah, my parting word, there's no specific parting statement from me other than to say we are treating this for another 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Abuse and relationship, right?
Yep.
So I want you guys to just stay put, and we'll be discussing different aspects. Like we did a lot about understanding the concept of abuse itself, and then we threw light on some of the psychology behind abuse, and then we threw light on how to escape abuse. So just sit back, relax. We'll be opening certain other parts of this very broad topic. And like what I said when I started, this is something that is very personal, and the statistics also have it that a lot of us go through abuse in relationships, different forms of abuse. You do not even realize, you know, and you're just going through it. So I think that is the essence of this podcast, to enlighten and throw lights from different perspectives on social issues like this. Be as realistic as possible. This is what I would always say. Be as logical as possible, and be true to yourself. If it is not working, you walk out.
Yes.
If it is not working, you walk out. You don't have to get into the same pool that the abuser is swimming, you know? You walk out if it's not working.
Yes.
I think that's all for now.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. K. For me, my message would be very much aligned to most of what we've already spoken. Kitty kind of took my message about don't fear, take the first step, and understand that you always have the power to make a difference. You've always have the power to change the circumstances that you're going through. Now, what I want to share is this, that if you ever feel like you're in an abusive relationship or you're getting abused, always remember whether it's life-threatening or not.
Okay.
Have a safety plan to mitigate or eliminate the threat of violence towards yourself. Be safe first. If you feel like your life is going to be threatened, because most of the time you can escalate to that point. If somebody is angry, they don't think. They are very action-based. And if this person's already abusing you, what would happen if there was a little butter knife on the table? It could escalate. Never put yourself in an environment where it's going to escalate to that point. Second, it is not your fault that you're getting abused emotionally or physically. Financially is still a very gray area in that sense. It is not your fault. Do not allow yourself to feel like it's because of me that he's beating me. I need to take all of this for myself. This is the way he shows his love. He's a lovely person. He's just really angry. Never allow yourself to be in that situation. And if you are the one who is abusing and you've come to that realization, man, why am I doing this to that person? Stop yourself. Cut that part off, because you will emotionally get involved in it once again. Trust me, I've seen this happening too many times. And last but not least, if you are being abused, just like what Kitty said, seek for support, legal advice if you can as well, to not just mitigate, but to also step out of it if it gets too bad. We're also going to put in the comment section on some of the helplines that's available in Malaysia. If you're from different countries where getting help is a bit difficult, let us know. We're going to dig deeper to see how we can also extend this help to you in that country as well via your local support systems and all. Last but not least, we will be talking more about abuse and relationship. You already did the hosting part just now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Mr. K can't help it.
I'm getting too passionate.
Yes. Let us know some of the call to action. I mean, some of the things that you really want to see next week for our conversations. And guys, I think we've come to the end of the podcast. My gosh, what a podcast it was. What a discussion. Thank you, Brian. Please give it up. The man who stirred shit up. Thank you, Venkat, for being here all the way from Singapore. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you so much, Kitty,
really
for sharing and opening up about some of your past experiences as well. Beautiful. And I hope that you've completely healed and you're advocating on a very strong path towards helping people, empowering them to also get out of such a situation. And of course, Mr. K. Mr. K, guys.
Self-acclaimed relationship.
Zaman, Zalejan.
Relationship.
My name is Virgil. I've been the host for episode 5. See you in episode 6. Take care. Have a wonderful time, guys. And I'll see you next week.